All right. Here's a little brief little ditty on ranchers and cowboys. Okay, so opportunities for ranchers and cowboys. Number one is free cattle. So during the Civil War, a bunch of guys from Texas go off to fight, and many of them are killed. And they're small cattle ranchers or small farmers, and their cattle are left basically unattended for 4 years, which means they reproduce, they multiply, and now there's all these cattle walking around, all these longhorn cattle walking around Texas without brands on them. So if you can round them up, put your brand on them, you get free cattle. So some guys will head down there to do that. There's also free grass because the Great Plains we know is all grass. So there's all this grass there that you can basically take your free cattle and you can graze them on free grass, and they become steaks walking around, right? You have these growing cities in the east that are looking for more food, like beef, and you can do that. And you can provide, or there's jobs as a cowboy mostly for African Americans, Mexican Americans, and immigrants, and even some Native Americans. So there's your opportunities for ranchers and cowboys. The challenges are you're a long way from markets. So you're going to have to drive your cows up the Chisholm Trail and other trails to the railroad. So you're going from Texas to Kansas, essentially, and you're pushing cattle the whole way, which is difficult because of the harsh weather, thunderstorms and heat, and sometimes cold, and maybe even some snow towards late in the year. Rivers can be very treacherous to cross with cows and horses and human beings. The climate, again, the Great Plains, the hottest of the hot, the coldest of the cold. And as we go through time, barbed wire farmers start putting barbed wire fences around their land to keep cows and other critters off of their fields, basically. And this is going to close your routes to the railroad. So that's going to be a problem is these farms keep putting barbed wire fences up. So your conflicts are going to be few, right? Of course, Native Americans, a little bit. Not as much as we would think, but they're always part of the story. But you're also going to have conflicts with farmers because they keep putting fences up in your way, and you're going to cut those fences often and run your cattle through their fields, and they're going to be upset about it, and will lead to some violence and different things for sure. But also townspeople. So when you get to the end of the trail, like in Dodge City, Kansas, or someplace like that, Fort Hays or wherever it is, oftentimes the cowboys will get paid. They'll take a shower, or not shower, they'll take a bath, they'll buy some new clothes, and then they'll go out and they will tear up the town. They'll go out to the saloons and they'll get drunk and they'll start shooting up the place. There's random acts of violence and killing and those kinds of, and so townspeople who live in these little cattle towns, cow towns, aren't real happy about it, and they start concerted efforts to get rid of cowboys and the cattle drives. So those will be conflicts as well. So a little bit of notes on some ranchers and cowboys just to get you jump started.